Welcome! In this video I will show you how you can make secret paths just like the ones you see in Super Mario. So when you jump up on a cliff like this and you hold down the key in a certain amount of seconds, then you'll go behind the rock in this case, and then you can go to a secret path just like they do in Mario. Yeah, let's get to it. So what I have in my scene here is a player, and on the player you will need a Capsule Collider or another collider that will fit your character. In my case, the Capsule Collider fits. You need a rigid body, 2D, and you need a character controller script so you can control your player to move around. If you do not have that, you can check out my channel. I have a tutorial on that as well. Then you will need a rock or another object that you can hide behind. On that object, you will need a sprite. In my case, again, it's the rock. You need a box collider. I have it only on the grass top up here. Then you need to add a platform affected 2D. You can do that by saying add component and platform affected 2D. On your box collider 2D, remember to trigger the use by effector here. Then you will use the effect down here. What this is, if you see here, you only have a half circle. So that means that the collider only works up here. So if you jump underneath it, you will just go through the collider. You can change that by changing the rotational offset. So if you say 180 here, now the collision works from the bottom and not from the top. And this is one of the things that we will work with. Set it back to 0. So this is what you need, and then we need to make a new script. So let's create a new script and call it hide collider. And let's add it to the rack. Let it compile first. Now let's open it up. And in here we will need a few things. Let's first add a private ball, and here we need to check if the player is on the platform. So is on platform. Then we need a private transform because we need a reference to the player. Then we need a float timer, and we need a float time counter. These two fields we will make serialized. So serialized field, we'll do that for both of them. And this means that it's still private, so you can't access it from another script, but you can still adjust the values from the inspector. And this is a good thing to do for most of your things, because when you have a big project, you can have the same name in different scripts, so you can by accident change the different or the wrong timer in this case. But if you serialize it then and make it private, then you can't change it. So this is a good thing. And if later you want to change this from another script, you can just make this public instead if it's needed. Good. Now when we have this, when we start, we need to say the timer counter is equal to our timer. And this is the timer that we need when we are jumping on top of the rock. Then we need to wait for some seconds before we can go through it. Then let's make on collision enter 2D. And here we'll need to say if our collision.gameObject.tag is equal to our player, then player is equal to the collision.gameObject.transform. So if we jump on top of the on the rock, then this transform here is equal to our player, because that's the one we are colliding with. And is on platform is equal to true. And why I am needing this reference to the player, that is because we need to set his layer to go behind all the things. But we will get to that. So let's save again. Now in our update function, let's say if input.getKey, and in my case I'll use keycode.s and is on platform is equal to true. So if we are holding down the S key and we are on the platform, and we will do that here, we'll set it to true. Then the time counter minus equal time dot delta time, else time counter is equal to timer. So if we are not doing this, we will set the time counter back to the timer. And what can we do with that? We can say if time counter is less or equal to 0, then transform.getComponent, and here we'll get our platform effector 2D, and here we'll use the rotation offset equal to 180. So this was the one I was showing you before. Now we are turning the collision to the other side so we can't fall through it. And while we are falling through it, then we will set our player.getComponent, and here we will take the sprite renderer, and we need our sorting order, and here you need to set it to the sorting order that you have in your game. I have it on -5. I will show you what it is in a second. Let's save this. The sorting layer is if you take your player and take your sprite. Here you can see your order in layer. And in my case it was 10, and I'm setting it to -5 because if you take my rock here, my order in layer is 0. So I have to go below it. So that's why my player will be, I could say -1 as well, but I know some of my other objects here is below 0. So -5 will be good for my example here. So let's go to this rack. We have the script on. The timer and the time counter need to be the same, so let's just set it to 5. Now let's hit play and see. Now we can go to the rack, we can jump up. And if we hold down the S key, you can see the timer here is going down, and when it hits 0, we'll go below. And now release it, and you can see the timer is 5 again. So now we are behind everything. And now it's up to you if you want to set another counter to, you know, maybe you have 5 seconds or 10 seconds to go to the secret path. If you go below these seconds, then you have to set your character back to the original layer again. And you can do that the same method that we did with this timer. That you set the timer, we have the time counter just for the new one you will make. And when it's reached 0 or below, then you can set your sorting layer back to 10 or what fits your game. Yeah, that was what I had to show you in this tutorial. I really hoped it helped you out. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button below if you want to see more videos from me. Thanks a lot, and see you next time.